All right, so here's an example of the interface. This is the first thing that you're going to see when you open it up. And what you're looking at here is a simulation on my computer so that I could get the camera here also. So I want to give you a quick introduction to the inquiry module because this is like the heart of the practice. It's the primary function of this thing. So it invites you to call in your coach, and then it gives you a space where you can journal a bit about your experience. And you can write whatever you want in here. It's up here. Let's say I'm tired. And you can also skip that part and look straight at your immediate experience. So this is kind of similar in frame to a subjective meditation. Of course, for the philosophers out there, let me fix this mic. For the philosophers out there, subjective meditation it's bringing awareness to your interior terrain, your thoughts, your emotions, your impulses, your sensations, and these are sensations, impulses, emotions, thoughts all arise from different parts of the mind. So you're just going to notice in your journal, and you could journal in another way, like we're going to allow ourselves to become self-reflexive. We write a bit, and then we look at what we're writing, and we ask ourselves, what's alive? What's going on right now for me? What's present? What's here, right? And if your attention is going more towards sensations, it's going to coach you in one way. And if it's going more towards impulses, it's going to coach you in a different way, and so on. Right? It's going to walk you through a process. I'll give you a taste of it here with sensations of welcoming your experience, which is like an appreciative inquiry process. So you're noticing it first, and then you're welcoming it. And then it'll ask you if you have any resistance to being with what is, right? Which has been one of my blocks for a long time. Is resistance shows up in many forms, right? And if you do, then it's going to ask you to welcome your resistance. Just like my favorite meditation teacher, spaceholder Kalia, would coach me in just exactly this way and ask me if I could, and then they'll ask you if you can just let go of your resistance. And you're going to sit with that and see if you can answer yes to it. And then it'll say, would you be willing to? When? And then it acknowledges you, which is the entirely non-Buddhist part of this. It's kind of like, that's what a coach would do, right? If you're a life coach, you're going to acknowledge someone for their progress. If you're a Zen Buddhist coach, you don't acknowledge them because you don't want to build up their ego. So there's going to be different modes to this eventually, where it could be more like a Buddhist facilitator where there's no acknowledgement, and more like a coach, and more like a counselor, and that's coming. It's one of the ways I would like to evolve this. And then it brings you back to the moment. Okay, now what's here? And what you'll notice is that things are going to change. As we welcome the moment, it changes. That poem, that which I flee from pursues me. That which I embrace transforms me. A couple other things here. If your attention is going to an impulse, which is like an attraction or an aversion, a draw towards or repelling away from something, if that's where your attention's going, if that's what's most alive for you, it's going to have you feel it first of all, and then feel into the nature of it. Is it more of an attraction or an aversion? And ask you, what's the quality? So let's say that I'm averse to somebody, but I don't know why, then, or what it is about. Then what am I resisting about them? What is this that I am resisting about this person? Maybe it's the way that they walk. They kind of have like a little jaunt in their step, and for some reason that peeves me. It doesn't peeve the guy next to me, but it peeves me, right? So that's my unconscious reaction, and from a psychological standpoint or a shadow work standpoint, that'd be a projection. So then it's going to invite me, if I say continue, it's going to say, okay, good job. You noticed it, you identify the quality, let's go back to the moment. If I say I want to go deeper, then it's going to have me begin to integrate it. So it's imagining that this is a person that I'm triggered to. If that's not relevant, you just click continue and skip over it. But whether I'm attracted to or averse to something in somebody, whatever that quality is, it's something that I have a particular relationship to. If I'm attracted to it, it's a part of me I'm longing for. This is a Jungian perspective, right? Shadow work perspective. And if I'm averse to it, it's a quality that I have repressed or denied or rejected in myself. So it's going to walk me through seeing if that guy seems like he's just a little bit arrogant, right? Maybe is the projection. Then can I locate that quality within my own arrogance, right? And then let's just continue from here, because the go deeper button, I don't think I've put anything there yet. So then you continue, and can you welcome this? Can you welcome your own arrogance and embrace it? And if so, when? And then it loops you back to the moment. Okay, now what's here? And that could go a lot further. There's other tools for taking that a lot further if you want. You can flip over to some of the clearings to if you want to go deeper in integrating that. But it brings you back to the moment. Okay, now what's here? All right, if your emotions are here, it borrows from NVC, and you can pull from this list. There's another list. It doesn't quite display right on my screen here. I don't think I can show you. Oh, I can. Yeah. So there's this emotion list and this one, and then they all pull from the NVC style, and there's going to be different styles of emotion lists that you can pull into this, but for right now this is a pretty comprehensive list. So you see what you feel kind of edgy, and then it invites you, okay, welcome that. Do you have any resistance to being with that? And if you don't, it acknowledges you and brings you back to the moment. What you're going to find is that as you welcome your experience, that which I flee from pursues me, or I fix to, that which I welcome transforms me and becomes itself transformed. I think it's Jennifer Wellwood, into its radiant jewel-like essence. I think that's Wellwood who made that up, who wrote that poem. But you'll find that as you welcome your experience, as you welcome your resistance, as you let go of your resistance, that your experience changes, and that you come back to something new. You bring your attention back, and it's something new. If you're grieving for an extended period of time, 5 or 6 years, there's probably something about that you're resisting, fixed to, or a lot of things about that you're resisting or fixed to. And by welcoming those experiences, you'll accelerate the path of integration, the path of coming home to yourself. Or so they say, right? That's how this is designed. If it's a thought that your attention is going to, then it's going to ask you, okay, is there a stressful thought here, or a judgment of someone? And if it's true, and if there is, it'll coach you through that. And this is based on the principles that I mined out from Byron Katie's work. But she says, okay, is it true? Can you know that with absolute certainty? Which is asking you to question the certitude of your thought, right? Is your thought absolutely true? And if it's not, and what you find if you try Byron Katie's work, or if you study integral theory, eventually you'll find that your thoughts aren't fully credible, because they're merely perspectives, and perspectives are complementary. So I'm both, if I think that I'm ugly, I'm also beautiful in some contexts. I'm ugly in some contexts, I'm beautiful in some contexts. I can accentuate that, the ways in which I'm beautiful and the ways in which I'm ugly, by virtue of where I put my attention. And so this is supporting me in releasing my fixed attention. And if my attention, our attention is really fixed, there's another tool for that supports kind of more directly getting at that, if that's a challenge. So let's say that I do believe it's true, right? Then it's going to ask me, is it possible a different perspective might reveal something else about this? What if you take a different angle on this? Are you also beautiful in another way? And so on, right? And let's say that I say yes to that, then it's going to ask me for the impact. What's it like to be you when you believe it? And then drop it, and what's that? What happens? What changes, right? So it's going to support you in getting the impact of having whatever that stressful thought is. It's going to release it a little bit, and then acknowledge you, bring you back to the present. Now what's it like to be you? Now what's going on in there? Now what's present for you? That is a quick summation of the awareness mode of the inquiry module. And then there's 2 other modes that I'll go into next. There's this one, the Sedona mode, and there's this one, which is kind of an Enneagram mode. I need to fix the title on here. So I'll break those down next.